They thought he was finished. Surrounded, disarmed, bleeding slightly, standing alone while German soldiers laughed and tightened their grip. One of them even smirked, confident that this man was already defeated. But what happened next shocked everyone who witnessed it. In less than 1 minute, 21 trained German soldiers were down. Some never stood up again. And the man they thought was weak, he was smiling. This is one of the most unbelievable moments of World War II, and once you hear the full story, you will never forget his name. Before we go any further, if stories like this keep you watching till the end, take 1 second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow and bring you more real stories that history books rarely explain this way. The year was 1944. Europe was burning. Cities were rubble, forests were battlefields, and fear was everywhere. German forces still controlled large areas, and resistance fighters were being hunted every single day. Captured resistance members were usually tortured, interrogated, or executed. There was almost no chance of survival once caught. And the man at the center of this story knew that very well. He was not a giant. He didn't look terrifying. In fact, many said he looked calm, almost relaxed. He had been fighting behind enemy lines for months, sabotaging supply routes, gathering intelligence, and helping civilians escape. He had already cheated death more than once. But on this day, luck seemed to run out. German soldiers surrounded him near a forest road. Their rifles were raised. Escape was impossible. He was outnumbered, outgunned, alone. They searched him, took his weapons, and mocked him in their language. One soldier shoved him forward. Another laughed and said something that made the others grin. They believed this was an easy capture, just another prisoner. What they didn't realize was that they had just made a deadly mistake. As they marched him forward, his hands were tied, but his mind was sharp. He watched their movements. He listened to their voices. He counted footsteps. He noticed who was closest, who was careless, who held their weapon loosely. Fear didn't control him. Training did. At one point, one of the German soldiers stepped too close. Too confident, too relaxed. That was the moment. In a sudden explosion of movement, he struck. His hand snapped free using a hidden blade he had concealed in his clothing. In the same motion, he grabbed the nearest rifle, twisted it, and used it as a weapon before the soldier even realized what was happening. The sound of the first shot echoed through the trees. Panic erupted. German soldiers shouted orders. Some froze. Others raised their guns in confusion, unsure who was firing. In those first few seconds, chaos ruled everything. And he used that chaos like a weapon. He moved fast, not randomly, but with precision. Every motion had purpose. He fired, dropped, rolled, grabbed another weapon. One soldier went down, then another. Then another. The forest turned into confusion, shouting, smoke, and fear. Witnesses later said it felt unreal, as if time slowed down. In just 45 seconds, 21 German soldiers were either dead or completely incapacitated. Some were hit before they could even aim. Others turned on each other in the confusion. A few tried to run but never made it. When the shooting stopped, there was silence. Bodies on the ground, smoke in the air, and one man standing, breathing steadily, unharmed. He didn't celebrate. He didn't shout. He simply adjusted his coat, picked up ammunition, and disappeared into the trees before reinforcements could arrive. German reports later described the incident as an ambush by multiple attackers. They refused to believe it was one man. Their pride wouldn't allow it, but the truth was even more terrifying. This was not luck. This was experience, discipline, and absolute control under pressure. What makes this story even more powerful is what came before it. He wasn't born a soldier. He wasn't raised for war. Before the conflict, he lived a quiet life. He had friends, dreams, routines. War took all of that away. And instead of breaking him, it shaped him. He trained in silence, learned survival, learned how fear works, learned how people react under stress. And when the moment came, he didn't panic like they expected. He smiled because he knew something they didn't. They underestimated him. That mistake cost them everything. Stories like this remind us that World War II wasn't only about massive armies and famous generals. It was about individuals, single moments, decisions made in seconds that changed outcomes forever. This is why we share these stories, because behind every date and battlefield, there are human beings who defied impossible odds. Even after the war, many of these heroes never spoke publicly, No medals, no parades. Just quiet lives, carrying memories no one could truly understand. Some of their stories only came out decades later through documents, eyewitness accounts, and declassified reports. When you think about it, that moment lasted less than a minute, 45 seconds. But those seconds became legend. If you've stayed with this story till now, comment below what surprised you the most. Was it the speed? The courage? Or the fact that one calm mind defeated 21 armed soldiers? Share this video with someone who loves real history, because stories like this deserve to be remembered. And don't forget to subscribe for more true, powerful stories from the most intense moments of the war. Thanks for watching.